Greetings once again, dear friends, as we gather for this moment of worship, as we call each other into this moment. I invite you to respond in the words that are in yellow. We gather today to worship the one who created us, the one who calls us, the one who equips us, the one who loves us without end. And so with joyful hearts, let us worship God. Kia tau, kia koutou, te atawhai me te rangimari o te atua. God fill you with truth and joy. Kia noho, aihoa, kia koutou. The Lord bless you. Ko te rā tēnei I hanga e hoa. Let us rejoice and be glad in it.
Love to sing your praises, Lord. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. From heaven to earth to show the way, from the earth to the cross, my debt to pay, from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. You came from heaven to earth to show the way, from the earth to the cross, my debt to pay, from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. You came from heaven to earth to show the way, from the earth to the cross, my debt to pay, from the cross to the grave, grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name. Lord, I lift your name on high. Let's do that. Let's lift up his name. Lord, I lift your name. I love to sing your praise.
One of the things that is really starting to get under my skin right now is the absolute proliferation of worried and fearful experts. I don't know if you've noticed it, but we live in the age of worried and fearful experts. And it doesn't matter what you're talking about, it doesn't matter what area of life, there are always experts who are worried and experts who are afraid. You can be talking New Zealand rugby, you know, after the loss on the weekend and the loss the week before, we've got rugby experts who are worried for the future of the All Blacks. And those who are afraid that the appointment of Foster wasn't the best thing as coach. You look at economics and the economic situation in any given country, and you've got experts who are worried about the impact of COVID, and those who are afraid that the economy will not return. The oil price and what's happening with the oil price. You know, all over the show are these experts, and they're always worried and they're always afraid. When it comes to these issues, often any given issue has worried and afraid experts who are on both sides of the debate. You can actually just choose which expert you listen to, right? I mean, COVID is a great example. With the opening of Auckland, we've got a whole bunch of experts who are worried about opening the borders and what that will mean for the country, and who are afraid at how many people will be infected and die. And then on the other side, you've got experts who are worried that the border hasn't been opened soon enough, and afraid that businesses in Auckland will not recover. You get that? And it's just exhausting. It's just exhausting, and it's everywhere. It's in every aspect of life. Worry, fear, and that seems to be the dominant narrative at the moment. Worry and fear and worry. And it's very difficult not to buy into that. It's very difficult not to be overcome by it. Now, I don't claim to be an expert on many things, but fear is something that I am an expert on. Fear has been something that has dominated my life. It's been with me the whole way through my life. I'm a very fearful human being. I know I stand up and I'm pretty loud and all the rest of it, but all of that is a facade, really. Fear is the dominant experience I have of life. Every morning I wake up afraid. And over the years I've had to learn to work with it. I've had to learn to manage it. And so I know what happens when fear erodes away confidence. I know what happens when fear takes over life. There are great chunks of my life that were overwhelmed by fear. And so I'm really, I'm now an expert that's worried, right? I'm very worried that many people are succumbing to this. And so today, my message is to exhort you, to remind you that we are not called to be people of fear. We are called to be people of faith. We are not a people of fear. We are people of faith. I'm told that the Bible has 365 occasions where do not be afraid or fear not occurs. 365 occasions. Now, I haven't counted, so I can't verify that. And if it does actually have 365 occasions, well, that's nice, cute. I don't think it's particularly meaningful. What we can say, though, without a shadow of a doubt, is that on many occasions in the scriptures, the phrase, do not be afraid, occurs. And so it's obviously very important to God that we understand that we are not to succumb to fear, that we are called to be people of faith. Now, one of my other pastimes is getting caught up and traveling down rabbit holes into Wonderland with Alice when it comes to YouTube and music. And I know some people will identify with this. Some of you don't know what I'm talking about. But when someone shares music with you, a link or something, and you open it, it tends to open in YouTube predominantly. And if you open music in YouTube and you're on your desktop or your laptop, what you'll see is you'll see the video, like I've downloaded here these videos, there it is. But down the right-hand side of the screen, there will be a ribbon of other options, of other videos. Often it's just different recordings of the same song, or it's different songs by the same artist, or if you picked up a particular program like Songs of Praise, there'll be other recordings by Songs of Praise by those artists, whatever. And that ribbon, if you scroll down, goes on forever. And the way the algorithm is worked out is that within those likes which are similar, you'll also have random videos that are totally not like what you're watching. And I love going down those ribbons and sort of randomly picking those and seeing where I go. And so some weeks back, I landed up watching a video by Bobby McFerrin. I have no idea how I got to that place, but Bobby McFerrin was on my screen and singing. Now, again, I don't see too many people, recognition in your eyes. You know who Bobby McFerrin is? No? Okay, but you do, okay? Because you know the song that he was famous for. Don't worry, be happy. You remember that? Yeah. Okay, so I thought that was the only song that Bobby McFerrin was really famous for, and that's all he did. Well, it turns out that Bobby McFerrin is a fairly clever character. In fact, I would say he's a professor in my mind. A professor in human behavior, professor in improvising, and he specializes in improvising. And so there are tons and tons of videos of Bobby McFerrin improvising. with audiences, with choirs, with random people. And I started to watch these because they really fascinated me. Out of nothing that's planned, they haven't done a rehearsal, he is able to shape things live and create something quite beautiful often out of it, just the way he engages. And I specifically started to zoom in on his engagement with individuals, where he would get an audience member or a person from a choir, call them out, and they will sing with him. And I started to see a pattern in his behavior. A pattern that, at the end of the day, seems to guarantee a good result. So I want to show you a recording by Bobby McFerrin, and I want you to watch it. But I don't want you to worry too much about the young boy that sings with him. Don't worry too much about what the boy is singing. He's singing Route 66, that's his choice of song. Don't worry too much about the audience and their engagement. Don't worry too much about even what Bobby McFerrin sings. Watch his behavior from beginning to end and see if there's anything in it that sort of strikes you. I'm going to ask you to give your input, so watch carefully.
Who are you?
Paulus.
Nice to meet you. What do you want to sing?
I can sing Route 66.
Route 66? You start. You start.
If you ever plan to move west, travel my way, take the highway, that's the best. Get your kicks on Route 66. It was from Chicago to LA, more than 2,000 miles all the way. Get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66.
One more time.
Get your kicks on Route 66.
Da 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 da.
All right. So, those who were there in Sunday, you've got a bit of a head start here, but don't jump the gun, right? Give the others a chance. Anything you notice about his behavior that strikes you and that you find interesting?
Well, he actually participated with the young man, so the little man
Yep.
didn't actually feel like he was there alone. That
Yeah.
he was, participating.
Yeah, it is a collaboration at the end of the day. They work on the thing together, right? He does. He shapes the thing together with the person. And he really enhances what they do. You know, boy doesn't have a fantastic voice. He holds a tune quite well. But actually, he just enhances it, right? Yeah, yeah. What else do you notice?
He sat on a chair, didn't he? Got sort of
Right down to the level of the boy, right? Okay, even when he greets him, you know, there's nothing condescending in his behavior. Like, he treats this young boy as an equal, really. You know, he gets down to his level, engaging. Even when he thanks him at the end, it's a genuine thank you. Like, I appreciated that, you know, and he gets on this chair, you know. Also, the getting on the chair, did you notice he takes the chair and he pulls it right forward? Yeah, it's like he's right there, there's presence. in the way he does it. And every single video that he does of this, there's this thing where he looks at the person. And he, I mean, it must be quite freaky actually. Like, people don't stand in front of you and look at you that intently, you know. But he does. That's, you know, it's, I'm giving you 100% attention. What else?
Puts his hand up to the audience.
Yeah, that is so important, right? The boy gets going, the audience immediately gets caught up in it and they want to contribute, right? But the problem is that if the audience starts contributing, what's going to happen to the boy? He's going to get distracted, isn't he? He's going to get distracted and he's going to go off, because audiences tend to start clapping and they clap fast and fast, so they're very bad at keeping a time, right? Immediately he says, no, there's a connection here and we've got to hold it, right? Anything else? There was one thing that we missed on Sunday and I forgot to mention it. No one picked it up. But one of the things you see, and I mean his face there, he is supremely confident in his own ability. And his supreme confidence in his own ability ultimately rubs off on the other person. Like, his confidence, and that's the thing, there's nothing orchestrated. When he sticks the mic up and calls people forth, you get some people who can sing and some people who just can't sing. And I mean, I've watched concerts where artists have called up a person to participate, and you can see it's choreographed. The person's got a great voice, you know, whereas often he's singing with people who don't have a great voice. But he is so confident in who he is, in his own identity, that he can carry it, that he can just do it on the fly. Now, I want to suggest to you today that Bobby McFerrin's behavior in these music clips is a little bit like Jesus' behavior when he calls Peter onto the water. I'm not saying Bobby McFerrin is Jesus. I'm just saying the behavior is very similar. Here's the scenario. Ministry has been happening. Jesus sends his disciples to go to the other side. They get in the boat. They're traveling through the night. Obviously, the weather is bad. It's taking them all night to get to the other side, something which is not the norm. The fourth watch, that's right near the end of the night. Jesus, then finished with his time of prayer, walks on water to them. Of course, when they see him, they totally freak out. Peter sees something, calls out and says, you know what, if it is you, Lord, call me out. And Jesus says, come. There's only one reason I can think of in my mind why Peter would have got out that boat. And that is if Jesus exuded the same kind of confidence that Bobby McFerrin exudes here, that he was willing to trust him. And the truth is, Jesus is supremely confident in his ability. He knows who he is. He knows that he is the Son of God. He knows that he can walk on water. That's just child's play for God, really. And so he calls Peter. And the thing we often miss with the story, or at least I miss with the story, maybe you've never missed it. In my mind, and I'm trying to think, I don't know, maybe I had a Sunday school teacher, the way they told the story, that's how it got in my mind. But in my mind, Peter gets out the boat and sinks. But the text is quite clear that Peter walks on water. And he does a good job of it, actually. He gets all the way to Jesus. We know that he gets close to Jesus because when he sinks, it doesn't say Jesus ran on the water and fetched him. It says Jesus just reaches down and pulls him up. He gets all the way there. It's a successful thing, just like these collaborations, they are successful. Not because of Peter's behavior, not because of the boy's behavior, but because of Jesus, because of the focus, because of the connection. And as long as Peter has his eyes fixed on Jesus, he is okay. But as soon as he gets distracted by the wind and the waves, by the audience, he's in trouble. We are called to be people of faith and not fear. But it's not a random faith that's out there. It's a faith in the person of Jesus Christ. And so I want to suggest to you today that as we live in this world that is so overwhelmingly fearful and worried, the only way we can ensure that we are not overcome by it is if we keep our eyes fixed on Christ. He is the author and perfecter of our faith. He is the one who allows us to walk on water, to do the impossible. He is also the one who has spoken to us and said, in this world you will have trouble, but do not fear, for I have overcome the world. It is this Christ who we follow. It is this Christ who we worship. It is this Christ who calls us to be people of faith and not people overcome by fear. Let us pray. For the hungry and the overfed, may we have enough. For the mourners and the mockers, may we laugh together. For the victims and the oppressors, may we share power wisely. For the peacemakers and the warmongers, may clear truth and stern love lead us to harmony. For the silenced and the propagandists, make we speak our own words in truth. For the unemployed and the overworked, may our impress on the earth be kindly and creative. For the troubled and the sleek, may we live together as wounded healers. For the homeless and the cosseted, may our homes be simple, warm, welcoming. For the vibrant and the dying, may we all die to live. Amen.
Set us free by the truth you now bring us. Shine.
Watch closely now as I change the light. The light that was once only in this one place at this one time, now changing, fading, thinning as it spreads through the whole room. Wherever you go in this room, you can come close to the light. Wherever you go in all of creation, you can come close to the light. Wherever you are today, you can live close to the light. Kia tau, kia tātou katoa, te atawhai o tō tātou ariki, oihu karaiti, me te aroha o te atua, me te whiwhinga taitanga ki te wairau tapu. Ake, ake, amine.